Okay guys, got another video update for you from Doozer's shop. We've been talking about the Brown & Sharp 13 universal cylindrical grinder, and we got an update. We were going to clean up the I guess the y-axis ways, and you can see I've got the last week I had the turret cover taken off, and I had the way covers taken off, and right now where I'm at is I have completely taken off the I guess you call it the y-axis, where the grinding head goes in and out to set your depth of your grind cut. And I'll show you kind of here. First step on this Brown & Sharp 13, excuse the gloves, is take off the electrical panel from the back. So I remove that, and then there's a bracket. That bracket there goes on the rear of the machine. You can kind of see where it was, and it just comes off with screws, bolts, whatever. And then you can, one of the problems was I couldn't, I thought I could just hand crank the lead screw back, you know, just hand crank the table back, and just run this bad boy off the back. But you can't. The casting, you can see the bottom for the bronze nut. It's got these little scalloped features to the casting, and it hit the grinder base, and I took a chunk out of it in order to get it to clear. Kind of see what I did there. This was the same level all the way across. I used a carbide die grinder burr, and I cut it out in order to slide it off. At first I cranked it, and then it just hit the back, and I'm like, well, that's no good. And I guess Brown & Sharp designed this so you take out the gearbox and the lead screw from the front, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't see any negative of grinding it down. So there again, you can see that's the y-axis where the turret and the wheel head goes on. Like I say, you can kind of see how the casting is. It just was going to hit, and well, it did hit, and I had to make room for it. So that worked out super great. I used a carbide bit burr, I guess you call it, and I ground it out with that. And you know, it's in my 1/4-inch Milwaukee drill, and the reason for that is, you know, die grinders are so fast. They're 10,000 RPM, and you know, they get a vibration, they chatter. This thing, I locked the trigger halfway, and I was cruising about 1,000 RPM. No vibration, just smooth. It probably took me an hour to cut that all out. You know, and I was sitting in my little chair there, and I had my arms locked against my body, so I was rigid. And it went really smooth, no chattering or nothing. So I know it seems kind of hack using a drill, but you know, no problem. I do have a very nice Do-More die grinder, and I've got air grinders, and I've got all the fancy schmancy expensive ways to do this, but I thought that drill was the best because I don't want chatter. I'm not in a hurry. So just to review, that used to be straight across, and I scalloped it out for the casting on the I guess the saddle for the Y in and out, and like I said, the turret goes on there. So I've been working cleaning this out. I wanted to do highlight something. Just some numbers in here. And the only thing I think makes any sense, this is kind of cool. Look at this. 4779, and there's a tree in there. And when I see the tree, I think of Suburban Tool. I think the tree is Suburban Tools, insignia, logo, whatever. Now, I don't know, Suburban Tool, I know Don Bailey, you watch his videos, I guess he was the owner or part owner or partner or something, Don Bailey was, but that's their I don't know if Brown and Sharp owned them at one point, or maybe Suburban had a foundry and they cast this grinder base for Brown and Sharp. But anyways, I think this means the 47th week of 1979, and that kind of makes sense because the serial number right here. Let me get a good shot. I know my autofocus don't work. It's the 525 13 2807, and that 2807 in the full long serial number. I think I looked it up. John Oder had some reference on Practical Machinist. I kind of thought by the serial number range that this was like a 1982 or 1981 machine. So that kind of makes sense, you know, with the 47th week of 79, that'd be almost 1980. So I think that's what that means. But the tree is interesting. They say I thought that was the logo for Suburban Tool, and maybe Brown and Sharp owned them at some point, or they own the foundry, or they're, you know, cousins with each other in bed there somewhere. I don't know. But anyways, that was kind of neat. Cleaning out everything. The ways are in fine shape. A lot of the cross hatching. Well, all the cross hatching, I'd say 90% of the cross hatching is there on the ways, which I'm super pleased. More rubber dust and no metal grit that I can see. How I'm cleaning this is the drain, and I put a rubber stopper plug in the drain, and I'm taking my parts washer, my brush with mineral spirits, and I'm just kind of brushing everything down and all the schmutz and everything. It kind of goes to that drain area, and I'm cleaning everything. There's some schmutz right there I got to get. But that's working out pretty well, and I just suck it up with the shop vac a little bit there, get it out of the... So I don't want it to go in the oil sump. I'll change the oil eventually. I'm just trying to keep that clean. I'm going to wash down the lead screw. Then I'll take the Y-axis piece here, and I'll hang it up just like I'm hanging the turret cover. I'll hang it up over the mineral spirits tank and wash it real good, even though I could just probably, you know, rag it out, but I want to wash out the bronze nuts, which are in fine shape. And it's kind of neat. It's a double nut. Let me see if I can, there's a nut in here, and there's a spring, and there's another nut in there, so it's a super duper a lot of bearing surface. And I don't know what, I'm kind of trying to figure out what this is. It's like a slotted screw bolt in there, and it's an eccentric adjuster, and I don't know what this does. I think it just cocks it sideways to lock it or unlock it from wearing with the spring, because that takes up the backlash in zero backlash situation. But anyways, so yeah, super happy. I got that going. I got everything off. I had to grind my machine base, which I think is a useful, tasteful modification. And it's sloped back to the drain, but I thought maybe drain oil would leak out of there. But it's not a problem anyways, because that cover, you can't see because it's sitting machine pieces towards the floor. It's machined flat, and actually there was some sealant on there, sealing it to the machine base. So oil's never going to come out of there. I couldn't see a reason why not to take that off. I'm sorry, to grind it out. So that I'm pretty happy with that. Also good news. The Y-axis readout was fine. The table got lifted at some point, and the main table X-axis readout got tacoed a little bit. And I took it apart, and I noticed here. Let me show you if I can get at there. This is the encoder head. And it's this little coil, a ballon, or whatever you want to call it. And I think it's a quadrature. It's got like 2 coils in there, or 4 coils, or something. But one of these little wires, I know it doesn't focus too well today, was broken. It was pinched and broken. So I resoldered it and I shrink tubed it, the gray wire. And then basically you thread it on this, you don't thread it, you just stick it on this rod. And this rod is just a steel rod, a very unassuming, it's just a steel rod. But apparently, from the reading I've done with these Sony readouts, is they magnetically impart some kind of a sine wave frequency wave on here magnetically, like you would program a cassette tape track. So there's a magnetic sine wave on here, and when the coil goes up and down, it does the quadrature pulse thing or something, and I tried it out. I hooked it up to the readout box, and it works with just the coil and the wires fixed, and then I just slide it up and down the rod. So I gotta fix this. It's pretty bent up. I think I can hammer it, get it flat, and get some new weather stripping sponge in there. This is actually in pretty good shape. It's actually steel, and it's got aluminum pieces around it, but that should be able to get fixed up. But I did try it on the encoder read box. I plugged it in, so that I'm kind of positive that thing's going to be working out for me. So very happy about that. I got my gear's ready to put on. I got to put the gear on, the shaft for the pinion that runs the table, and that other shaft, and the synchronizer plate, or whatever you want to call it, and that plate, and I got over there on the headless Bridgeport, I got the other part of the gearbox. So that stuff's ready to go back together. So, another score today, I'll show you guys. For 50 bucks at a garage sale, I picked up this Crown pallet jack. Let me kind of focus you in on here. Yeah, Crown pallet jack. And it's cool. It's the short one. It's not the 4-foot. It's the 3-foot. And it's the narrow one. It's not the 27-inch wide. It's the 21-inch wide. So you can see, and so you're looking at the workhead right there. You can see how handy that's going to be in my shop, because, my big orange one, and it's made in China, but it was for free and everything. That was my workhorse. But got that Crown at a garage sale for 50 bucks. And that's going to be a great thing for in my shop, because all my stuff is on blocks, and I can move it, with a pallet jack or a forklift. But the forklift, you got to swing wide in here. So, and there's of course the workhead on my halfway shopping cart, and the straps just so it doesn't turn turtle on me. So, anyways, yeah, I do these updates on the grinder, this Brown & Sharpe number 13, because I bought it from my friend Jim in Grand Island, New York, and my buddy Mark, also in Grand Island. He has a Brown & Sharpe 13 grinder also. So I'm kind of doing an update to show them guys. I show them, show them the video, and they call me up and we talk about some of my progress and whatnot. So I really appreciate Jim and Mark with their help, with this grinder. Interesting enough, I said this is from Kodak, Eastman Kodak in Rochester. There's the brass tag, and I took the sticker off, and maybe I shouldn't. But anyways, it was a sticker on it that said, Janus air permit required. And I did some research on the internet, and something at Kodak, they had something called the Janus Project, and it was building 210. And I guess what it was, the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, they really monitored the chemical pollution, this and that, of Kodak. And in the Janus complex, air permit required meant that, this thing ground rubber and produced particulate dust. So, on the wheel head, these black suction guards, there's another one for the other side, were made at Kodak, I believe. They seem shop fabricated, but that was something that they regulated and had some kind of filter vacuum system in the Janus complex. So that's interesting, that even the grinding dust emissions from this grinder at Kodak was monitored by the EPA, because there was some pollution nonsense going on that Kodak was doing. And just, you think it's just rubber dust, but I don't know, the government wanted to know what it was all about. So anyways, that's my video of the 13, the update on taking the table off and cleaning up the ways. And so I hope you guys, follow along and get some enjoyment out of this. And Jim and Mark can see what I got going.